What if your favorite Hollywood stars were drunk all the time? On set, in public, even at their lowest moments. These aren't tabloid rumors. They're real, raw stories of fame drowned in alcohol. Curious how far they fell? Stick around as we reveal 15 worst celebrity alcoholics who drank themselves to death. Let's uncover the truth. Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan was once a talented and promising child star for Disney. With her adorable looks and natural acting ability, she quickly became a beloved star, a familiar face in teen films. Fame came to her very early, and a brilliant future awaited. However, tragedy struck when she plunged into a spiral of heavy alcohol abuse, leading to a life full of scandals and a career that plummeted uncontrollably. Lindsay Lohan's battle with alcohol began early and quickly became serious. She is a prime example of a fallen child star, with successive personal problems related to alcohol and drugs. She entered rehab more than 6 times before the age of 30, an alarming number that shows the severity of the addiction that plagued her for many years. Continuous relapses turned her life into a vicious cycle of hope and despair, a never-ending inner battle. The consequences of alcohol abuse destroyed Lindsay Lohan's promising career. From a potential Disney star, she lost major contracts and was not hired for film projects because she couldn't control herself, often arriving late or being absent from the set. Her image became a symbol of self-destruction, a painful reminder that even talent cannot save a person when they fall into the spiral of addiction. Currently, Lindsay Lohan is quietly trying to rebuild her career, away from the hustle and bustle of Hollywood. She is gradually finding peace and focusing on family life, a faint hope for a new chapter. Nevertheless, her story remains a regrettable tragedy about a talent that alcohol stole too much from, leaving an indelible mark on the dark side of fame. Britney Spears. Britney Spears, the Princess of Pop, is a global icon whose smash hits and fiery dance moves defined a generation. From a talented child star, she rose to become an international superstar with dazzling fame and undeniable influence. However, behind the perfect facade and glamorous performances was a life full of pressure, strict control, and struggles with mental health issues, along with her serious drinking habit. Despite being known for her mental health struggles, Britney heavily abused alcohol, especially during the crisis period in 2007. That was the time when the pressure from fame, media scrutiny, and personal problems pushed her to the brink. She often appeared in an intoxicated state, with public erratic behaviors becoming the focus of tabloid news. Her image gradually crumbled before the public, from a charming princess to a symbol of chaos. The consequences of these behaviors were extremely serious. Britney Spears lost custody of her children and was placed under a legal conservatorship for over 13 years due to her erratic behavior and numerous public drunken incidents. This was the peak of tragedy, when a mother was stripped of her parental rights, a powerful star completely controlled by others. Her life became an inescapable prison, where she had no right to make any decisions, from finances to relationships. Her journey to regain freedom after a long period, bound by the influence of alcohol and stress, is an inspiring and tearful story. Britney fought tirelessly to escape the conservatorship, to find her voice and her own life again. The next names will shock you. There's at least one you'd never expect. Comment 1 if you're ready for a surprise and don't miss what's coming up. Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, an A-list star with a romantic, eccentric appearance and diverse acting talent, has captivated millions of audiences worldwide, becoming one of Hollywood's most beloved names. From classic roles to the legendary Captain Jack Sparrow, his fame was so dazzling that few could have guessed he was wrestling with a silent battle against alcohol and a wild lifestyle, a battle that pushed him into the center of shocking scandals. Johnny Depp's personal struggle with alcohol was a serious issue, intertwined with his tumultuous life and poor choices. He once confessed that he drank every day to combat the immense pressure of fame and personal life. This shows that alcohol was not just a habit, but also a coping mechanism, a temporary escape from the invisible burdens a superstar has to carry. His wild lifestyle and substance abuse led him to frequently appear intoxicated, causing public incidents and severely damaging his image. However, the peak of the tragedy was when alcohol exacerbated his infamous lawsuit with Amber Heard, one of Hollywood's most shocking cases. Details of his substance abuse were exposed in court, severely damaging Johnny Depp's image. The direct consequence was that he lost his role as Jack Sparrow and was cut off by Disney, a huge shock to his illustrious career. From a sought-after star, he was turned against by the public, facing a career in freefall. Although he ultimately won the lawsuit, Johnny Depp's image has not fully recovered. The prolonged legal battle drained him both mentally and financially, leaving scars that are hard to heal. Johnny Depp is still a talented artist, but his story is a reminder that even the biggest stars can fall due to personal issues. His life is a modern tragedy about how alcohol can creep into a person's life, destroying not only their career but also their reputation, leaving an indelible mark on Hollywood history. Andre the Giant. Andre Rene Roussimoff, known worldwide as Andre the Giant, was not just a legendary wrestler and giant actor, but also a global icon of extraordinary stature. His massive physique, over 2 meters tall and weighing over 200 kilograms, brought him immense fame but also an unimaginable burden: chronic, incessant pain. Every day was a battle with continuous aches and pains, and Andre turned to alcohol as a temporary painkiller, a way to escape the harsh reality his body had to endure. It is said that Andre could consume over 100 beers every night, an unimaginable number for anyone else. He even once drank up to 119 beers in just 6 hours, breaking all records and astonishing everyone. This was not just an extraordinary tolerance for alcohol, but also a whisper of despair, an attempt to find peace in persistent pain. Each beer was like a tear, trying to soothe a wound that fame could not heal, pulling him into an inescapable spiral. The endless parties and enormous amounts of alcohol wore down the health of the celebrated giant. Gradually, his body, already burdened with severe congenital issues due to his immense size, weakened further under the destructive effects of alcohol. His illustrious career began to suffer not due to lack of talent, but due to the invisible burdens that intoxication brought. The stage lights no longer seemed strong enough to hide the tired, haggard look on his face. He was still the beloved giant, but inside a fierce battle was raging, where the enemy was not an opponent in the ring, but the spiraling substance abuse that was slowly tightening its grip. Ultimately, the price of that lifestyle was too high. Andre the Giant passed away at the age of 46 from heart failure, a tragic end to a brilliant but also pain-filled life. His death is a painful reminder that even a giant cannot escape the devastation of alcohol. Although he is gone, Andre the Giant's legacy lives on. His story will forever be a part of Hollywood history, a tearful ballad about a star who fought tirelessly until his last breath. Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen was once one of the highest-paid television stars in history. With a handsome appearance, charming smile, and innate comedic talent, he captivated millions of audiences and became a familiar face on the small screen. With his role in 2.5 Men, he reached the pinnacle of fame, earning millions of dollars per episode, a life many dreamed of. However, behind that dazzling fame was a prolonged and dramatic battle with alcohol and drugs, a battle that transformed him from a beloved star into the center of continuous scandals. Charlie Sheen is one of Hollywood's most famous alcohol and drug abusers, with a long history of substance abuse and uncontrollable behavior. He frequently appeared intoxicated, causing trouble and getting arrested repeatedly. His personal life became a chaotic mess with broken marriages and tumultuous relationships, all heavily influenced by alcohol and illicit substances. His outrageous statements and shocking behavior astonished the media, and the public followed his every move with a mix of curiosity and concern. The peak of his downfall was when his uncontrollable words and behavior due to alcohol caused Charlie Sheen to lose his role in 2.5 Men, one of the most lucrative roles in TV history. This was a huge shock to his career as he was fired from his own show, transforming from a star earning millions per episode into a bad image, a painful lesson about the consequences of substance abuse. He personally destroyed everything he had built, a rare tragedy in the entertainment industry. Charlie Sheen has tried to recover after those dark years, but the path back has never been easy. His career has not maintained its previous peak, and he remains a living warning about the destructive power of alcohol and drugs on a famous person. Oliver Reed. Oliver Reed, the English actor with a powerful, rebellious style, once enchanted audiences with impressive roles and a devil-may-care personality. He was not only famous on screen, but also notorious off-screen for his incredible drinking feats, to the point where it was rumored he could drink a bar dry. Reed represented the image of a wild star, living life to the fullest, heedless of rules or limits, a free spirit both expansive and risky. His fame may have been dazzling, but it was also colored by intoxication and endless parties. Reed's life was a series of alcohol-fueled adventures where limits seemed non-existent. The most shocking story about him is when he won a drinking contest with Navy sailors, consuming over 100 pints of beer, an unimaginable number. This insane act not only showed his extraordinary alcohol tolerance, but also demonstrated the terrifying level of abuse that had infiltrated his life. He lived a wild and unrestrained life, often causing public scandals due to appearing intoxicated. These incidents gradually turned him into a nightmare on set and in the public eye, as his career increasingly suffered heavy consequences from this uncontrollable habit. The consequences of that lifestyle came abruptly and tragically. During the filming of the famous epic movie Gladiator, Oliver Reed died at a pub due to a heart attack, an end believed to be directly related to his excessive drinking. His death occurred right in the middle of production, forcing the film crew to face a major challenge. To complete his remaining scenes, CGI technology had to be used, creating a haunting and iconic image for a life that was destroyed by substance abuse. Oliver Reed's passing is a chilling warning about the price of unrestraint. He is clear proof that alcohol can snatch a talented person's life away at the most unexpected moments, leaving behind regret and haunting memories for those left behind. Nevertheless, his acting legacy is still remembered, with powerful, intense roles that defined his name in cinematic history. Richard Burton. Richard Burton, an exceptional talent on screen, with a mesmerizing voice and captivating demeanor, won over audiences worldwide with his outstanding performances. He was dubbed a functional alcoholic, a cynical term that also accurately reflected his peculiar ability, drinking heavily yet performing relatively normally on set. His fame was so dazzling that sometimes people forgot the silent battle he faced, a battle hidden behind a glamorous facade. Richard Burton's personal struggle with alcohol is a complex story, intertwined with his tumultuous life. Some days he could drink 3 bottles of vodka before noon, yet still film as if nothing happened. This extraordinary ability was both a bizarre talent and a curse, pulling him deeper into a spiral of substance abuse that few noticed. His volatile and passionate relationship with Elizabeth Taylor is believed to have added fuel to the fire for both their addictions, creating a shared destructive spiral into which they both plunged. Fiery arguments and public intoxicated appearances became a familiar part of this famous couple's life. By the 1970s, the destructive effects of alcohol had begun to show clearly on Burton's body and voice. His voice became hoarse, his appearance lost its inherent glamour, and his body severely weakened. He was often seen stumbling out of bars and even ejected from theaters for causing disturbances, sad images for a great talent. He once frankly admitted with cynicism and tragedy, "I've been drunk for years. I am a happy alcoholic." That statement, though containing bitter humor, painted a clear portrait of a talented man being consumed by the darkness of alcohol. Finally, Richard Burton passed away at the age of 58 due to complete liver destruction, a tragic end to a brilliant life deeply immersed in alcohol. His death is a strong warning about the consequences of substance abuse, even for the most functional alcoholics. Richard Burton's acting legacy lives on as one of the greatest actors of all time. Judy Garland. Judy Garland, the legendary star of The Wizard of Oz, was once a stage angel with a heart-stirring voice and innate acting ability. She captivated millions of audiences from a young age, but early fame also meant early tragedy. Behind the dazzling facade was a life ravaged by alcohol and drug addiction, to the point where her great career was shattered little by little by her own binges. Garland was not only addicted to prescription drugs due to pressure from the entertainment industry, but also heavily addicted to alcohol to the point of losing control. Instead of soothing her soul, alcohol became a binding chain, pushing her into a dangerous, vicious cycle. She started arriving late, canceling performances, or even couldn't stand steadily on stage because she was too drunk. Her erratic behavior and job failures gradually turned producers away. Her former glory faded, and her career slid uncontrollably. One of the darkest moments was when Judy was found collapsed, unconscious in a London hotel, her body emaciated, no longer the image of a national icon. Alcohol and drugs not only destroyed her career but also eroded her mind and health. Garland gradually drowned in loneliness, despair, and crushing debt, consequences of years spent in intoxication. Despite multiple attempts at rehabilitation and comebacks, alcohol addiction snatched away her last chance at revival. At the age of 47, Judy Garland died of an overdose. A shocking death, but not entirely unexpected for those who witnessed her prolonged decline. Judy Garland's story is not just a personal tragedy, but a clear warning about the price of fame, built on sacrificing mental health. She remains a musical and cinematic icon, but behind the stage lights was a soul gnawed away to nothing by alcohol and drugs. Her artistic legacy lives on, but her life reminds us that not all stars are allowed to shine fully. Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford, the Academy Award-winning actress, was an icon of beauty and style in Hollywood's golden age. With dazzling fame and powerful roles, she left a deep impression on the public, becoming one of the most powerful and admired divas of her era. However, behind that magnificent and proud exterior was a dark secret, a silent battle with alcohol that transformed her into a different person, a terror to her dearest loved ones. Joan Crawford's battle with alcohol unfolded silently. She was a heavy alcohol abuser and always sought to hide this habit. She frequently hid bottles of alcohol throughout her house, from closets to desk drawers, so she could drink any time without being discovered. This shows the deep level of dependency and despair in keeping her secret. Although she always tried to maintain a perfect image in public, when alcohol took hold, another aspect of Joan Crawford emerged, a cruel and terrifying one. The greatest tragedy was not limited to self-destruction. According to the heartbreaking account of her adopted daughter, Christina Crawford, in the book Mommy Dearest, Joan Crawford often became violent and abusive towards her children when intoxicated. Details of Crawford's cruelty shocked Hollywood and the public, exposing a terrifying aspect hidden beneath a star's perfect facade. Her life was not only a silent struggle with alcohol, but also a series of cruel acts that deeply hurt her dearest loved ones, leaving irreparable scars in the souls of those children. Although Joan Crawford died at the age of 73 from cancer, and in her later years gave up alcohol and became devout, the ghost of her violent and substance abuse behavior forever cast a dark shadow over her legacy. Her story is a painful reminder of the hidden tragedies behind the glamour of fame, a testament that not all that glitters is gold. Joan Crawford remains a cinematic icon, but her life is also a harsh warning about how alcohol can turn a person into a terrifying phantom, destroying not only themselves but also the innocent lives around them. Was Joan Crawford's hidden alcoholism Hollywood's darkest secret? Comment yes or no below to let us know your thoughts. Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor, the undeniable queen of Hollywood, was the embodiment of dazzling beauty, innate acting talent, and incomparable charm. Her life was a series of iconic roles and dramatic marriages, every step closely watched by the public and media. Elizabeth Taylor's fame was so brilliant it overshadowed everything around her, but behind it was a tumultuous personal life, especially her passionate and often alcohol-immersed relationship with Richard Burton. The love affair between Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton was not just a classic love story, but also a symbol of destruction. Both stars were immersed in alcohol, and this combination became a catalyst for fiery arguments and shocking public incidents. Alcohol not only ignited passions but also magnified every problem, turning their lives into an endless drama of love, hate, and loss of control. Taylor's drunken moments often came with erratic and uncontrollable behavior, causing considerable trouble for herself and those around her, tarnishing the image of a queen who was once flawless. One of the most infamous incidents, which became a symbol of the chaos and drama in their relationship, was when Elizabeth Taylor threw a glass of wine in Richard Burton's face right at the Dorchester Hotel. That was not just an outburst, but also a warning bell about the devastation alcohol brings to relationships, especially for celebrities constantly under immense public pressure. Her career was maintained thanks to her talent and influence, but the alcohol-related scandals gradually eroded her image in the eyes of some audiences. Carrie Fisher. Carrie Fisher, the actress globally renowned for her role as Princess Leia in Star Wars, became a pop culture icon, beloved by millions of fans. The fame of the Star Wars universe propelled her to the pinnacle of celebrity at a very young age, but also simultaneously put her into a prolonged battle with alcohol and drugs, a battle that simmered behind the stage lights. Fisher was not just a star, but also a courageous voice, openly sharing her personal struggles. Carrie Fisher's battle with alcohol and drugs began when she was very young. She turned to addictive substances as a way to cope with the immense pressure of fame and the bipolar disorder she was diagnosed with. Fisher's life was a challenging journey between periods of recovery and relapse, as she tried to control both her addiction and her mental health. Those years were a spiral of despair and hope, as she continuously sought to overcome the darkness that enveloped her. Carrie Fisher's courage was not only in facing her illness, but also in that she entered rehab multiple times and openly shared her personal struggles, becoming an important voice in raising awareness about mental health and substance abuse. She wrote books and performed to tell her story, shedding light on the hidden corners of Hollywood and the human soul. Despite significant efforts, her recovery journey remained full of thorns and challenges, a reminder that escaping the spiral of substance abuse is a never-ending battle. Despite her many efforts to live a sober life, drugs and alcohol were still found in her system after Carrie Fisher passed away at the age of 60 due to a heart attack. Her death was a great tragedy, leaving millions of fans heartbroken and serving as a painful reminder of the complexity of addiction and mental health issues. Even for admired stars, she remains a symbol of resilience and compassion, a star who transformed personal pain into a beacon of hope for the community. Rita Hworth. Rita Hworth, Hollywood's love goddess, was an undeniable icon of beauty and talent, with fiery red hair and mesmerizing dance moves that captivated millions of hearts. Her fame was so brilliant that people forgot the profound tragedies hidden within her life, as she struggled with alcohol addiction, stress, and broken marriages. Failed marriages and strict industry control led her to turn to alcohol as a temporary escape from the harsh reality. Alcohol severely affected Hworth's ability to work. She frequently forgot her lines on set and was absent from work, causing many difficulties for producers and colleagues. The image of a goddess gradually faded, replaced by a haggard woman lost in intoxication. Sadly, for many years, her alcohol addiction was mistaken for other health problems, because at that time, awareness of the effects of alcohol was limited. This meant she did not receive the necessary help, and her condition worsened. Later, she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, a neurodegenerative condition that robbed her of her memory and cognitive abilities. Alcohol abuse exacerbated her condition, pushing her into a life of confusion and disorientation, a tragic end for a once dazzling star. Rita Hworth passed away at the age of 68, a heartbreaking end for a star who was once a symbol of beauty and charm, leaving behind a sad story of the devastation of illness and addiction. Her cinematic legacy lives on, with roles that went down in history and timeless beauty. However, her life story is also a profound reminder of the invisible burdens that fame brings, and how alcohol can become a terrifying phantom, stealing all that is most beautiful from a person. Because YouTube will prioritize interactive videos, please comment "OK" if you find this video interesting. Thank you. Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke was once a promising star with a romantic, rugged appearance and innate acting talent. He quickly became a sought-after name in Hollywood. Impressive roles propelled him to the peak of his career, but then he experienced a disastrous decline under the influence of alcohol and poor choices. Rourke's fame gradually faded, replaced by the image of a man battling his own demons. Mickey Rourke's fall into substance abuse began with self-destructive behaviors, such as arguments, broken relationships, and frequent arrests. Consecutive personal scandals made it difficult for him to be hired for film projects. Hollywood's doors slowly closed on a promising talent. Despite turning to boxing, a decision that disfigured his face with irreversible scars, he continued to sink deeper into alcohol, becoming impoverished and forgotten by Hollywood. This was the peak of his decline, when a star who once had everything now lost it all due to alcohol. He once painfully admitted that he drank himself into bankruptcy. That statement reflects the despair and destruction alcohol caused in his life. Rourke became a shadow of himself, a painful reminder of how alcohol can strip everything from a person, from career, assets, to even appearance. He wandered in the darkness, alone facing the consequences of his misguided decisions. However, Mickey Rourke's story is not entirely tragic. He made an impressive comeback with the film The Wrestler, a role that mirrored his own tumultuous life. The film not only brought him accolades, but also an opportunity to redeem himself to himself and the audience. Although the battle with alcohol continues, he is trying to stay sober, bringing a faint ray of hope for the challenging recovery journey of a once-wounded star. Mickey Rourke's comeback is a testament to human resilience, a story of perseverance and hope, that even after long nights of immersion, one can still find a way back to the light. Dean Martin. Dean Martin, a key member of the Rat Pack, was the epitome of charm, talent, and an unmistakable party person persona. He is a rare example of a star who could leverage his personal habits to create an iconic image, even when it carried its own risks and challenges. Dean Martin was known for frequently substituting whiskey with apple juice on stage, a small trick to stay calm and control his performance, while maintaining the charming drunk image his audience loved. On stage and screen, he often appeared gracefully intoxicated, creating the image of a suave, free-spirited gentleman who always knew how to master every party. This story reveals a more subtle aspect of how he managed his image and career, separating his drunk stage persona from his personal life. This cleverness helped him maintain his peak fame for decades, not being destroyed by alcohol-related scandals like many of his colleagues. He knew how to control what the public saw, turning a weakness into an advantage, creating a unique and inimitable style. Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson, the globally renowned actor and director, was once one of Hollywood's most powerful and beloved stars, with classic action films and brilliant directing skills. His fame shone brightly not only on screen but also in his profound influence within the film industry. However, his life was plunged into the darkness of alcohol abuse, leading to a series of scandals that severely damaged his reputation and career. Mel Gibson's battle with alcohol was a persistent issue, linked to his intoxicated appearances and shocking behavior. He was a heavy alcohol abuser who often got drunk, became aggressive, and insulted others. The peak was his arrest in 2006 for drunk driving and making anti-Semitic remarks, an incident that ignited a wave of furious indignation from the public and media. This incident was not just a personal mistake, but a severe blow to his image, revealing a dark side the public had never imagined. The consequences of this incident were extremely serious. Mel Gibson was boycotted by Hollywood for nearly a decade. Major studios dared not collaborate with him due to his toxic image. Projects stalled, and his name almost disappeared from the big screen. From an A-list star, he became an outcast, a clear testament to how alcohol can strip everything from a person, even if they possess extraordinary talent. He faced fierce condemnation from all sides, a stain that was hard to erase. It took many years, along with recovery efforts and a significant change in attitude, for Mel Gibson to be partially forgiven thanks to the film Hacksaw Ridge, a critically acclaimed work that gave him a second chance. Mel Gibson's comeback is an arduous journey, a reminder that the path to redemption is always challenging. He remains a great talent, But his life story will forever be a warning about the destructive power of alcohol and the consequences a star must bear when losing control. Every shattered spotlight you've just witnessed is a stark warning and a spark of hope. Fame may lure stars into the bottle, but recovery stories remind us the script is never finished. If any name on this list surprised you, drop it below and tell us why. Smash that like button so YouTube knows conversations like these matter. And hit subscribe with the bell on so you never miss our next deep dive into Hollywood's hidden truths.